Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stand Up Taller podcast with your hosts, Neil Berliner and Al Martin.
Hello, everybody. Al Martin here with my esteemed co-host, Neil Berliner, and we have a great show lined up for everybody today. It's going to combine my two greatest passions in life, food and comedy. So we've got a couple of great food experts with us on the show today. Neil, I'm excited.
This is the one we've been hungering for.
Oh God! Oh God!
So, anything else going on before we start with the real topic, Al?
I'll tell you something. We got some great feedback on the last episode. I mean, I was blown away. People really liking what we put out there.
Did you say feedback or feedbag? It's the food episode.
Oh, I think we're going to have about 35 to 40 minutes of this kind of nonsense going on.
Sorry, folks. I woke up late. So, yeah, good feedback on which episode? Gianmarco Ceresi episode, Vinny Favale, which one?
Vinny Favale. People love that episode.
I know. Jeez.
I mean, that guy, listening to, I like to sometimes go back and listen to our episode when I'm really tired and I want to go to sleep. And no, I'm kidding around. But people really got back to me. I can't believe how many things he was at the beginning of in comedy. I mean,
it's unreal, right?
Central, and I mean, he's the most unbelievable thing about it is he's so down to earth.
Yes.
And easy to talk to. I really.
Maybe that's why he was allowed to do so many. People took to him so well, and he took his suggestions on things because he's such a nice.
You know what the key is? People were not threatened by him.
Exactly.
Because when they're threatened by you when you're starting out, if you come on too strong, they try to stomp you on the head, like Jason Scoop. He's so funny. He's so overpoweringly funny that people try to stomp him on the head in the beginning.
Right. That's when I started to read this 48 Laws of Power. Never outshine the master. It's rule number one.
That's right.
Down.
And of course, it did it on a dare. How I Built a Comedy Empire teaches you so many great things, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think you mispronounced history. The first history book you'll actually want to read. And today is the launch of our big TikTok campaign starring Jason Scoop. Every day on TikTok, a joke from Jason. Go to Jason Scoop on TikTok, everybody. You won't believe the level of impressions that this guy does. It's amazing.
Jason, I'm sure you had great videos on TikTok already, but I can't tell you the power of that platform. Troy Bond, who does a lot of work for Broadway Comic, this guy is blowing up TikTok. I literally get calls every day from people that want to make a reservation to specifically see him.
That's great.
And sometimes I'll screw with people. I'm saying, well, you can see him, but we have Rodney Dangerfield on the next show. Would you rather see him? And they go, who's Rodney Dangerfield? Anyway, let's get to our food portion of the show. Neil, two really powerful guests, I think, today.
All right. Well, why don't you introduce your friend first? You're very good friends with Ellen. Give us, Ellen, why don't you give us your background, or Al, you tell us about Ellen.
So you know how you get these things on Facebook every so often, people you may know or people that might be of interest to you. So her picture popped up a couple of different times when I would open up my Facebook, and I would then, I thought maybe it was a comedian, I don't know. So it turns out that her hobbies are comedy, poker,
pastrami and big steak dinners. Yeah,
exactly. And I said, you know what? This person, I got to get to know this person.
Yes.
Has everything in common with me.
Yes.
And not only to take it one step further, I own some properties in a development in South Jersey, and she happens to be a neighbor in that same development.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, 10 miles west of Atlantic City, which I bought a while back, but sometimes I live in Vegas or LA, so I was renting it out, but I'm here right now. I got to try to sell this place. Anybody want to buy a condo in Atlantic City area?
Well, you know what? You might have to put it up in the market in the spring when people want to be up that way. Right? Although you have been having great weather, right?
Hey, it's like I landed in Philly last night. It was like 53 degrees. I had to take off my jacket and everything. It was great. Yeah.
So Ellen, wound up, we got to know her and realized that not only does she have poker in common with us, she has a love of food, and she operates a couple of great food groups on Facebook. Ellen loves pastrami, Ellen loves beef brisket and beef or ribs, or Ellen loves fried chicken. There you go. There's her card. Okay. And so she has developed a lot of followers, and I've gotten a lot of great food tips from her. Ellen, how did you get into all of this?
Yeah, that's a great question, Al. Well, it started around, I guess now it's around 13, maybe 13 years ago, something like that. David Sachs wrote the book Save the Deli, 2009. Well, he had a group, Save the Deli. So I ended up having the Ellen Loves Pastrami group. How it started is, okay, growing up, for all of us, we can, I grew up in North Jersey. You guys grew up in Brooklyn. It was easy to get a good pastrami. You didn't have to think about it. You didn't have to go, let me check this place compared to that place. And nowadays, I used to go to the Carnegie in New York. I loved it. Growing up, we had Tabachniks in North Jersey. That was just an easy, right, couple miles away. Okay. Then fast forward to the fact that a lot of the third generation, the children of the owners, they didn't want to go into the business. You can't blame them, because it's like a real labor of love. It's hard making, all those meats, homemade, who wants to do that? Even the owners would tell the kids, you want to go to college, you want to be a doctor, that kind of thing. Just to get, it was tough. And then the prices of meats got really expensive too, the pastrami and everything. So since it got a little tougher to find good pastrami, David Sachs runs the group Save the Deli. He wrote the book Save the Deli. So I started my group, Ellen Loves Pastrami, and that was 2009. But actually, around 2005 was how I became like a road food person. There was a group called roadfood.com. It was run by Jane and Michael Stern. They wrote the books on road food. You sometimes see them in those books all over the place, in the store. And we would talk on all these message forums. We put up pictures of our trips, and I put up pictures of food, and I met a few nice friends like Howard Weinberg from Baltimore that I'm still, hanging out with now. And then that kind of morphed into Facebook, because Facebook took over the world around 2009. So, when Facebook, we joined that, and then I started my groups. But anybody have any questions? That was kind of a ramble. I hope I didn't talk too fast.
No rambling, but you run three really great groups, I think, that I know of: fried chicken, the beef, and then the pastrami. So
I have five groups now, but the burgers, Ellen Loves Pastrami, right. Ellen Loves Beef Ribs, Freed Loves Fried Chicken. My fifth group, what's that?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say my fifth group I started just for people who like to make a homemade meal, like Jonathan Arnold. He cooks some great meals, because I rarely cook, but I wanted people to have an outlet to, because my other groups are really for restaurant pictures, places we can go to. So that's the story there. That's my fifth group, your homemade meals.
So
I have two questions, actually.
Yeah.
Sure, Jason.
Sure.
First question is, what do you think of Katz's? Because when I think of pastrami in New York, the first place that comes to mind is Katz's Delicatessen.
Yeah, I like Katz's a lot. To me, it's not, I love the atmosphere. It's not the ultimate. Sometimes, I get it, sandwich is a little hard to chew, or the bread is lousy, but the atmosphere I like. My love was Carnegie, but they went out of business 2016. And the last couple of years, they started getting a little hit or miss, but that was where I kept going for like 20 years or so until they closed. So yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying about atmosphere. That's how I feel about In-N-Out Burger in Los Angeles.
Yes,
I like the essence in there, but I prefer the taste of Shake Shack in New York.
Yeah, definitely. I love Shake Shack, sure.
Yeah, but my other
Hey,
question was, you
yeah.
mentioned fried chicken.
Yes.
For years, I came up with this invention, a food invention that I still haven't made a prototype, but I wanted to combine rotisserized chicken and fried chicken.
Interesting.
Rotisserie fried chicken.
Mm.
But I haven't made a prototype yet. But I've consulted with professional chefs and stuff, and some people have said it might be difficult because I want the consistency of the rotisserie chicken, but the delicious skin of the fried chicken. But they said I might have to like refrigerate the rotisserie chicken and then put the batter on it, and that could hurt the consistency. So I gotta, what are your thoughts?
Okay, my thoughts are, I'm actually going to deflect that question to Jonathan Arnold, because he's the one who's the expert. He posts a lot of delicious looking meals on my Post Your Homemade Meals group. So he's the one. I rarely cook, but I love your idea though, Jason. Jonathan, you want to jump in? Any ideas?
Thanks, Ellen. And I love all of your groups. I think you should come out with a dating site that just says, Ellen loves you, and
that
just
might
add
be
that
a
to your
great
repertoire.
idea. Because I am in between boyfriends, and it feels like,
Aha.
and some of these groups I'm in on Facebook, the Jewish singles, age 45 plus, Palm Beach
Oh,
County,
yeah.
you're okay. But if I go to these outdoor music events, there's like 10 girls and one guy or something, and sometimes the guy is like, he's okay, he's a friend, but it's, how it goes. I'd rather meet them in my meetup groups, where we talk.
That's right.
Eat pastrami. Yeah.
I think as far as the chicken is concerned, I think, the rotisserie chickens are usually injected and they're usually brined, and then they go on the rotisserie and they become nice and juicy. They stay juicy on the inside and nice and crispy on the outside. I have a feeling that if you, at the end of that process, and let's say you refrigerate it, then dip it in a batter and then dunk it, I kind of have a feeling that the breast meat is going to be overcooked. I think if you try it, you're going to have to experiment a lot and almost undercook the rotisserie a little bit.
See,
and then,
that was my original thought. Rotisserize it maybe 75, 85%.
Right.
Then chop it up, put it through the batter, and then really high temperature with the fried chicken skin. I think that could be a huge idea.
I like the idea. Listen, it doesn't hurt to experiment at home, although chickens are like $100 a chicken today. I don't know. It's insane.
Jason.
Yeah.
Jason, if you were able to make that successfully and get a prototype out there, I'm thinking the greatest pitch man for this would be Robert De Niro.
Oh, yeah.
Could you see how that would go?
Look, we call it rotisserie. It's fried. Huh?
And then Pesci comes
I kind
in.
of see Chris Rock doing this, Jason. Pitching this for you.
Rotisserie fried chicken. Jason Scoop. Yeah.
I noticed though the latest trend in wings, like buffalo wings, when I have them, and that's like seems to be the most delicious, is when they fry them and then they throw them back on the grill. It might have started in Daytona. Some of these places call them Daytona wings when I had them like 12 years ago. This
I do love that.
And it's that extra crispy, you fry them and then they're back on the grill. Oh my God, there's places that, when they say that, do you do it that way? That to me is the most delicious. You get that extra.
Well, they get kissed by that charcoal
Yes,
the last
that's the
second.
word we're
You know what I
looking
mean?
Yes.
I got a chicken question for you guys. Super Bowl Sunday, I was going to go with my wife to this place. They were having a special on Super Bowl wings, but they were only drumsticks. So my wife took a look at the picture of the ad. She says, "This is just drumsticks." I said, we were trying to decide, like, when restaurants advertise wings, what are they talking about? I said to my wife, they're flats and drumsticks.
That's correct.
We didn't know what the hell was going on. What are wings? What are they?
You're right. There usually should be a combination of flats or drums. And a lot of places will charge, say, a couple dollars extra if you want all flats or all drums. And I actually like the flats the best, but like our foodie pal, Larry Kerman, he likes the drums. Like, I don't really do justice to the meat anyway, but a lot of times I don't even notice if they have flats extra or whatever. But that's weird when they had all drums, at that Super Bowl thing.
Now, does the drum include like anything beyond the drumstick? I mean, the leg, like...
I think you got two thighs, two legs, and then the wings are the top, the thing on the top towards the back, I think, that is combined together. It's a drumstick and a wing.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And my other question about Since I have the chicken guys on there, hey, Jonathan, what does
Yeah.
broasting mean? Broasting.
Yeah, good question.
Broasting.
You ever heard
I
that?
don't. I
Yeah,
haven't heard that
roasting
York
one.
with a
thing.
B, Jonathan, like B as in boy. It's kind of like fried chicken, but it's like an air fried lighter.
Yeah,
food.
the place in Pompano called the Chirping Chicken, I think it was, that used to specialize in roasted chicken. Now, the fact that Jonathan seems like he doesn't know too much about what it is could tell you the reason why that place went out of business.
Yeah, some people
And
like it.
I could
Like it
I
that
could tell
much.
you. I could also tell you if it has anything to do with an air fryer, I'm the last to adopt everything. Like back in the days when everyone had a VCR, I was the last person with a VCR, and then some new technology came around. But I do not own an air fryer. I think about it. I have a little FOMO about it. Everyone's posting their air fryers and warming up their French fries and swearing to God that that's the best way to warm up French fries, which I could care less about. But I might get one. I have a sous vide machine. I barely use it. I just bought that because I love Starbucks egg bites, and I decided that I wanted to try to make those at home in big mason jars, and it works out good. But yeah, I haven't air fried anything yet.
Well, my
Oh,
wife says that an air fryer is just nothing better than a convection oven.
It's a powerful convection oven.
I
It's
see.
and it's enclosed in a small space, so you have a lot of circulating hot air. Whereas in your oven, it's larger. The fan is smaller.
I see.
Yeah,
Now, getting back to Jason's In-N-Out thing, Jason, don't they have the worst fries at In-N-Out? They're garbage.
Yeah, I'm
aren't
not in love with the fries.
they?
Yeah, I
No.
hate the fries.
This- by the way,
Sawdust.
this is a 1 hour argument conversation about In-N-Out and other burger places. So, but the fries, you're right. The fries are fresh. I mean, they're popping them out of the machine right in front of you, but they're
I get-
only fried once. They're
Right.
only fried once.
I once tried to take a picture in LA in an In-N-Out, and the manager almost assaulted me.
Really?
For what?
That's
Because, it's so
ridiculous.
clean in there, and the employees are so, cool, and, they're very
You ran into
punctual
the
and
one,
everything, but they didn't want pictures. They
that's
didn't want-
unusual.
Yeah,
I
that's
go to the
weird.
one in
Secrets.
Vegas. There's one in Vegas right there at the Lynx Promenade, between Harrah's and the Flamingo. And it's like got all the flashy neon. There's a little store you can buy In-N-Out merchandise. So I go in there sometimes, get an animal style burger. I hate their fries. But I mean, you can take a million pictures. I think you ran into the one overzealous manager and the only one in the world at In-N-Out. That's odd.
Yeah.
I
And before we get lost in
confidently-
the food, Ellen, before we just continue about food, we got to say that you're a poker dealer as well. You're not just
Yes.
a poker fan. Tell us about a little bit about your poker dealing
Yeah, sure.
experience.
After I finished college, about a year later, went to Vegas for vacation, never quite left. So I started playing poker, and after a few years or so, some of my friends are poker dealers, and I started realizing, hey, it's a nice way to be on the other side of the table too, guaranteed money, and started playing dealing poker like Horseshoe, Golden Nugget, and some of the little tournaments. And I worked for the airlines on the side, ramp agent. I did a little of both jobs, America West Airlines, Vegas, LAX, United, loading luggage. So basically right now I work the real big tournaments every couple months at Hard Rock Hollywood. I deal to Al and Carolyn, Al and his lovely wife. Every couple months they got a tournament series for a couple weeks long. Now, where do you live, Neil? Are you live in South Florida now?
Yeah, I live in Wellington now. I used to commute. I'm a New Yorker, and for 15 years before COVID, I would go up. I'm a doctor too, so I would go up to New York every single week for 3 days. Every single week, I would stay in New York from Monday to Wednesday, do my doctor stuff, then come down. That's how I met Jason, doing comedy shows, seeing him at shows and
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
That's how we became
Wow.
friends.
So
But-
you
Yeah, I'm sorry.
you still do your doctoring, or
Yeah, only Monday to Wednesday, 9 to 10:15 a.m.
your name sounds familiar? What kind of doctor are you?
I'm a psychiatrist, and speaking about getting sleep. We talked about getting sleep from something before. I was going to say that I don't prescribe Ambien anymore. I prescribe the other thing. Somebody said it's something we were talking about helps them sleep or something. Remember?
yeah,
Oh.
this show.
This show,
Yeah.
besides this show. That's a given. That's a given now. But anyway.
So
Lots
I
of-
want to
Lots of fried chicken and turkey.
yeah.
tryptophan, right? So
That's
I want
right.
So I want to put our guests to the test. I want to ask them a couple of questions since they are experts in food. Ellen, I want to ask you what your top picks might be in terms of pastrami, in terms of a hamburger, in terms of a steak. Do you have one in each category that, let's say, definitively is your choice?
No, I'd have to say, no, not really, not currently, because it keeps evolving. You like something for a couple times and the place isn't there anymore, or it changes, it's not as good. There was
You liked Uncle Pinky's, remember Uncle Pinky?
that's a great example. Uncle Pinky's Deli in Boca, house-made pastrami. Now he's concentrating on his other restaurants, so that only lasted about a year and a half. Also, as Jonathan remembers, do you remember the pastrami joint, Jonathan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Lisa and Steve Olick from New Jersey, but they moved down here for a while. They house-made pastrami. They were at this yellow-green farmers market, big indoor market in Hollywood, for about a year, until the landlord raised everybody's rent. It got crazy. Then they were doing farmers markets like Gulfstream Park on a Sunday. Then they had a place in Miami, but that was only for about 6 months because the landlord wanted to charge him a crazy amount because the other tenant didn't show up. So basically then to stop, they went to Jersey, but that was the great, the house made and the brisket and,
But that's, Ellen, that's a perfect example of concentrating on one thing and doing one thing right.
Right. Not having like a million things on a menu. They just have pastrami, brisket, turkey, matzo ball soup. Yeah. And that.
I found in dealing with restaurateurs in business through the years and knowing them and talking with them and meeting with them, it's very weird. It's like they're like comedians in some ways, it's like they're very talented with creating dishes. They're very talented with the food. They're very talented with a lot of that aspect of it. But then, and this is probably the reason why so many restaurants go out of business, they have a passion for the food. They create a concept for the food. They open the doors, and then they get like a deer in the headlight look. Oh, I didn't know I had to market this thing. I didn't know I have to handle the books, and
that's a great point.
Yeah. So sometimes I wonder, if you have two people that get along, a business marketing person and then the restaurateur, but I mean, they got to get along, because I could definitely see those two clashing heads, like the restaurateur goes, I want to create this beautiful dish. It will cost $78 a head to create it. And then the business, $78 a head is our cost.
Well, it's like, they're artists. A lot of these people are creative thinkers, they're artists, but they're not business-minded people. And you can't, you can't down them for that. I mean, listen, Neil, you're a doctor. I worked with doctors 20 years ago in the medical software industry. I sold medical software to doctors. They never, not once, asked me what the rate was when they financed the system from me. I would smash them over the head with 10 to 12 points on a software system. They're not. A lot of people are not business-minded people, but they're really good at what they do, whether it's a doctor or whether it's a cook or a chef, and it's, you're right. There needs to be two sides of the equation. They need to have a lot of them need to have business partners or learn really quick.
Yeah, and doctors are famously bad business people, famously bad.
Famously
bad. Yeah.
I found that, one of the reasons that one of the things that's helped me in my business through the years is I did start out as a comedian, but I have my degrees and experience in the business world. And I started as a comic when I was like 30. So I still, had already been out there a little while in the business thing. So when I opened the comedy club, I had the sensibilities of a comedian, but I also had the sensibilities of running a business. Like another guy that's like that is Chris Mazzilli. He was a comedian and an actor who eventually went on to, open Gotham Comedy Club. And I venture to say that, those are, the two of the better clubs running business-wise in New York, when you have that kind of dual combination. So I would assume restaurant business, if you get a guy that has, or a gal that has the passion and the food in their heart, but also has some business experiences, that might be the one to bet on.
Well, that would be me. If I opened up a little cafe or a restaurant, I would need a business side. My wife is is unbelievable with numbers, but I would need that. And I'm perfectly fine admitting that. I just want to concentrate on the creative stuff, the dishes and a handful of dishes, and be really good at that. If I did something like that today.
Well, Jonathan, speaking of your creative side, tell us about your YouTube channel, your hit food channel. Tell us all about it. I noticed that you have a lot of very interesting looking foods up there.
So, you know, I started out with YouTube many years ago, and I actually drifted away from it. I'm thinking about going back because I have a lot of content over the years and I can just kind of feed it into YouTube. But I really just concentrated on Facebook and Instagram on, you know, Hit Food Channel. That's the name of my channels. And really all I'm doing is, and I'm not doing it to monetize anything. If that comes later on, great. But all I'm doing is documenting what I'm making for my family every day. That's all I'm doing, whether it's lunch or breakfast. I want to grab the camera real quick and just show clips or videos of what I'm making for my family and get it on camera to show people. That's all I'm doing. It's very simple. I hate editing.
So how do you think it's become so popular, your channel, based on,
you know, word of mouth? Yeah, just word of mouth and sharing and you know, being involved with anyone who's watching me. You know, I'm lucky enough that, you know, just a few people are watching me, and you know, I'm engaging with them. I'm also, you know, I do want to give a shout out to somebody and how, you know, you asked Ellen, how did you get into the whole deli thing? You know, I got into this, or I was inspired to get into this by first joining a South Florida group.
Let's Eat South.
What is it? Mayo, Mike Mayo's group. Let's Eat
South Florida.
Let's Eat South Florida.
Comma South Florida. From the Sun Sentinel started it. The newspaper.
The Sun Sentinel. Yep. So I started there, and then I saw this really interesting character kind of always making brash comments, you know, about things. And he was a member of the same site, and he was getting kicked off all the time. He was controversial. He was pissing people off because his opinions were so strong and he was so knowledgeable. And like someone said earlier, you know, don't overstep your boundaries right away, or don't be so strong with people when you first meet them, you know. Jason Perlow, who maybe you'll meet later, he you know, I said, man, I like this guy. So I reached out to him and I said, hey man, I introduced myself, and you know what? He had enough of it, and he started his own site, Foodies Who Review South Florida. And when I joined that site, I started talking about food more, and I love food since I was little. I was watching PBS, you know, cooking shows my whole life, you know, and I can name all the chefs on TV that I watched growing up. And I just had this passion inside, but I never talked about it with people. I never really got to share. And Jason, kind of from sharing and really being a part of the food groups, it got me out of my shell. And then I started my own page. And it was scary at first, you know, being on camera and talking and, you know, but I said to myself, you know what, why not? I just want to share what I'm doing every day with people, and maybe they'll tune in and maybe they won't. And so that's sort of how I got involved with all of this.
So now you mentioned you don't do this much for the monetizing. So what are you doing nowadays to pay for the...
Sure. Yeah. So I mentioned earlier in my early 20s, I got into the software industry. I worked for a company called Florida Medical Computers, and I was selling practice management software to doctors' offices. And then I, over the years, got into more cybersecurity and data center, you know, really sexy stuff, dealing with Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies, dealing with their IT departments, and essentially being a consultant to them and getting them engineering services and just helping IT departments from large companies. Recently, I got out of that about a year ago, or when COVID hit, I turned to my wife and I said, you know, I don't really enjoy what I'm doing anymore. And I want to do something that I enjoy. My wife is also in technology for over 20 years, and she's worked her way up the corporate ladder. And I'm very fortunate enough to be able to do something that I want to do right now. And I just started a company called the Pot and Vine Company, which is very high-end, self-watering planter pots. And I'm putting the arrangements in them, the flowers and the plants, and I'm delivering to residential and businesses all over the North, the North Florida area. And I'm just having fun dealing, touching soil and being outside and delivering these awesome self-watering pots to people. But the food thing is always been a hobby, but I've never been able to monetize the food thing. Like I've never, people said, oh, when I was in high school, you should be a chef, you should be in the restaurant industry. And that lifestyle of the chef, I look up to them and I think they're amazing people. I couldn't see myself late at night, and staying out late and then waking up, late in the day. And it's a wild lifestyle. And it was just never for me. And I know that currently, if I ever.
You're breaking up on me. I can't tell if it's just me.
I can hear you now.
I feel the breaking up too. Yeah.
I could hear you now.
Oh, we got you back.
Good.
Yeah, I think you might wind up becoming the business end of a business partnership of some sort in a restaurant, if you can find the right operator.
Yeah, I mean, partnerships are tough, but if you find the right person that you connect with and click with, I mean, I'm open to all possibilities. I'm 46 years old, and interesting doors open up for me my whole life. But it feels like every 10 years something interesting happens, really interesting happens in my life. And yeah, I'm open to all sorts of possible opportunities. But
also
right now,
on YouTube. Like, I know you said you hate editing. If you hire an editor, you could make like a lot of money on YouTube.
Yeah, so it's tempting because I see all these great creators and, it's like a lot of them have their kids, behind the camera. Their kids are in school to learn editing and film. And man, their channels look unbelievable. And I know I have lots of ideas, but I would definitely need some help because I have no patience for the editing side. And, I was thinking about maybe some.
You're an idea man.
I'm an idea man.
You're not going to be the one executing the pasta, the chicken parmesan in the kitchen, or the or making the pots themselves. So, here's my idea. Here's my vision. Here's a budget that we can work with. Let's make it happen. From the creative side, get somebody that way.
Yeah, I mean, I need someone behind the camera, but as right now, I'm just setting a camera up and I'm showing what I'm doing every day for my family, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And you know what? Some people just post whatever they want. If it doesn't look halfway decent on camera, I don't even post it because that's what you're visually seeing what I'm doing. If it just doesn't look great, but it tasted great, I'm not even posting it.
The other day, Jonathan posted delicious homemade pastrami. He made a full Jewish style fun meal. You're like honorary Jewish guy, right? You're honorary.
Yeah, well, no, I am a Kohen, so you watch out. I'm from the tribe, baby.
You are from the tribe. Okay, you made the best Jewish fun food. You posted in my group in other places, but that's how I got started with my own groups too. Basically, is just. You branch out. I was on roadfood.com and it was working out great for a while. And then you get a few admins, people get jealous. That's the second time you posted that same picture of your burger. I said, well, I didn't realize. If you do it one more time, you get suspended. Once you run into an old grouch and then you go, let me just start my own group. You know what I mean? Like then you can call the shots a little better, It's fun to be in other groups too, but I got my own too.
Oh, Jonathan, one more thing. Very interesting about those self-watering pots. So are those intelligent pots that decide like how much water is necessary, like for a particular plant at a particular time of day and heat and temperature and all that? Are they intelligent pots?
No, Neil, that was your idea. This is much more basic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is a self-watering system. They're called aqua pots. They were developed by the owner of owner of Proven Winners, which is a global flower company, and also Jack Barnwell, who is a world-renowned landscape designer based out of Mackinac Island and also Naples, Florida. They developed these beautiful pots that are designed by Michael Carr. He's a well-known pottery guy. And what they did was they integrated this really cool self-watering system in the pot with a drain hole on the outside. So basically you're filling this pot up. It's a sort of like a PVC pipe that sticks up on the side. You don't see it, it's black, it blends in with the soil. You fill it up until a little bit of water leaks out of the side. So you'll never overfill it. Even if it's sitting outside getting rained on, it'll never be overfilled. And you fill them up with water once every 2 weeks. You could throw some fertilizer down the pipe and fill it up with water, so your plants are feeding on nutrient water. So it's a really high-end, gorgeous pots with these really great self-watering systems in them. I do the arrangements, I deliver everything to the clients, and they love it. I also have a service where I come out every 2 weeks or once a month, trim them and keep them looking beautiful. You know, there's a clientele out there that doesn't want to go to Home Depot or Ace Hardware and pick up their 80-pound pot and fill it with soil, and they just want to. And that's what the Pot and Vine was born.
Hey, Ellen, I heard some breaking news.
Yeah.
Okay, I heard some breaking deli news. Maybe you have some info on this. We all love the Rascal House and
oh yeah,
Pumpernick.
I've seen that.
We love the
Corky's.
And I heard a wild ass rumor that Wolfie's was coming back, and then I'm thinking to myself, oh, Wolfie's coming back. Would it be in Boca Raton? Would it be in Delray Beach? Would it be in Boynton, one of those areas? No, the rumor was that they were going to open up in Sarasota.
I saw that too. Now we got to do a road trip now. Besides the Meshuggah deli that just opened in Sarasota, now we can go to this supposed Wolfie's, but it's not going to be the same owners. It's going to be hard to
probably a licensing deal of some sort. So you're not going to have the same heart in it and the same, they're going to do an upscale version of Wolfie's, and it ain't going to work. And first of all, I can tell you right now, I think, listen, I don't want to be a deli snob, but I can't see Sarasota supporting something of the magnitude of the way Wolfie's used to run,
Exactly. Now, the guy running it, his name is, he's trying to open it, whatever, Saul Shanker, SOLSHENKER, something like that. Now, he, a couple years ago, maybe right before the pandemic, I don't know, he had a place, it wasn't his own, he was like in a hill, one of those hotels where he had to go up to the 6th floor park. He had a place in Sarasota where, he served the pastrami. I don't know if it was homemade, but I'd always see people talking. You got to go see Saul, go to his place, but you wouldn't really see him writing it, but everybody else would. But it would seem like one of those places you had to figure out how to get there, where do you park, funny hours. And now it's the same guy coming out of the woodwork again. So maybe it's worth a shot.
Was involved in Jerry's?
No, not to mine. Jerry's was different, owned by different company, brought Jerry's. I think it's some single-handed guy, Saul Shanker, and we'll see.
Ellen, I thought the article was a little clickbaity with the whole Rascal House thing,
And it was. Yeah, because you can, you can, like this place, Don's Drive-In Burgers in Livingston, New Jersey, growing up. It was great. You had the pizza burgers, the onion rings, great place. You would love the owner. The owner took his employees to the racetrack. And this is like back in the 80s, late 70s. But more recently, about 10 years ago, some new owner tried to open a Don's in downtown Morristown, New Jersey. He wasn't even charbroiling the burgers. It's like you're just able to use the name, and it was like crazy. That place closed up real soon. So he's saying, hey, we're having a Wolfie's and a Rascal House. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it, as we say, right?
Yeah.
First red flag, Sarasota, Florida. I don't know.
Yeah. You have to be doing a lot of huge meetups to help that business out, right?
But see, that's
for Wolfie's there. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's an underground movement over there.
On a small scale, he could do it, like craft pastrami, like style, like Jonathan and I talk about, the artisan pastrami. The new place, Meshuggah, well, the last year or two, they had a takeout only, but now they open a full, seating area and different location. Meshuggah, he said, he posted today, he had over 1,000 bagels sell out by 7 in the morning, whatever. So people are coming in. My friend went there, Rick Green. I have not met him in person, but he lives in the area. He told me he went for pastrami. They were sold out by 2 in the afternoon. So it's kind of like the brisket in Texas. They sell out early, then you learn to maybe make a little more or something, but it's fresh at least. Yeah.
I got a question. You mentioned brisket.
Yes.
What do you guys think of barbecue? Because I realized after visiting some of our southern states in America that there really is no actual good barbecue in New York City.
I used to go to Hill Country Barbecue, then I didn't like it. It's hometown barbecue in Brooklyn.
I'll tell you where to go, Jason. Jason, I'll tell you where to go. Dinosaur Barbecue
That's
in
good.
Harlem.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
That's
the best.
In Harlem.
That's
Also in Astoria,
Yeah.
go to Pig Beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beach used to be in Brooklyn and Astoria, now just Astoria and West Palm Beach. Pig Beach is awesome, but Dinosaur is the best in Manhattan.
Dinosaur is great.
Yeah.
And hometown Brooklyn, Red Hook.
And I'm sorry?
Hometown Brooklyn and Red Hook. They have homemade pastrami too. It's great.
And Jason, I was going to ask you, you play Manhattan, all the clubs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with Sarge's Deli in Manhattan? Have you ever heard of that? It's a
Sarge's?
Deli.
Yes.
Sarge's. Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's on 3rd Avenue, Al.
Yeah.
Is it on 3rd?
Yes.
Awesome deli, Jason. As good as
I love
Texas.
it.
I'll have to check it out.
And they're open like till 2, 3 in the morning. It's great for comics.
No more. They're not open that late.
Right.
Oh, really?
That'll
Yeah,
change
really?
with the pandemic
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Just like the
Now,
comedy used to be open at 4 in the morning when they'd reopen at 6 in the morning. They just closed for cleaning for a couple hours. But of course that'll stop even before they
And Ellen, I got one more question for you. So you got Ellen loves brisket, Ellen loves pastrami. Anytime soon, are we going to see Ellen loves kale or Ellen loves quinoa?
No chance, buddy.
Have you heard of those things, Ellen?
I've slightly heard of them, but I don't really participate. I have a Caesar salad once in a while. Does that count? Tableside Caesar salad. Salad with
Well, you remind me what Jim Gaffigan says. Chicken salad. Is that really a salad? You know?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Buffalo chicken salad. Yeah.
running low on time. So in the last few minutes, I want to do a flash round. Okay. And then Jason, I know we have a special Jason Scoop. We have a special guest who is also going to participate in this round. So here are the things. I'm going to ask each of the two of you your favorite steakhouse, your favorite Chinese food. Ellen doesn't do Chinese.
Yeah, once in a while, but
it doesn't have to be the absolute favorite, but a recommendation. It could be a burger recommendation. And then Donald Trump actually checked in. And this guy was
Unbelievable.
Come on.
We can't keep him off our phones. You know, this guy intercepts every episode we do.
Donald Trump, really? You're
Donald
bluffing us.
I could do
Everyone
anybody.
loves
Who would
Ellen.
you like? I can tell you that my favorite food is the pills. Buddy. I can do anybody. What's the deal with the delis? Oh my God, Kramer! Giddy up, Jerry.
Now, Donald Trump. What
Yes.
is your favorite burger? Your favorite chicken? Your favorite pastrami? Tell me about it.
Well, look, Al, when it comes to, we call it burgers, right? Delicious burgers. And look, nobody knows burgers, frankly. Like I know burgers. And I would have to say, I like McDonald's, okay? It's classic. It's old school, right? We call it old school. It's been there for, frankly, a long time. Been there a long time. And I have a tremendous relationship with, frankly, the nuggets and the fries. And so I would say McDonald's, okay? Look at that.
I must cut in
Great guy,
here.
Al Martin.
Listen.
Great guy. We have a tremendous relationship, okay? Neil too.
I must cut in, Jason, because here's a true story. I had a box at Shea Stadium, 7 rows behind the Met dugout for years. 2 boxes behind me was Trump's box, okay? Now, at one point, I went up to him for an autographed ball. I had a ball, and I had him sign it before the game. He had McDonald's fries with him, okay? They don't sell McDonald's. They didn't sell McDonald's at Shea Stadium. He literally brought his McDonald's fries into Shea all the time. You believe it? True story.
Donald Trump, you have any kosher food you like?
Well, look, once again, Al, Nobody knows kosher like I know kosher. As you know, my daughter Ivanka, she converted, right? A lot of people that you have to have a Jewish parent to be Jewish. I created a Jew from scratch, okay? We call it from scratch. And so I know kosher. I know kosher well. And believe me, we have a tremendous relationship with the kosher food, okay? We call it matzo ball soup. Unbelievable.
Oh
Okay.
gosh.
Our other Jason, any hot restaurants, hot foods you're liking right now, digging and
Al, the Alzheimer's kicking in. It's Jonathan, not Jason. Thank you.
I'm sorry. You're right. Look, off the air, Neil. I might need a prescription or two.
I'll give it to you right now on the air.
Well, listen, as far as steaks is concerned, you know, go to the local market, buy a big fat ribeye that's about 1.5 inches thick. Get yourselves invest in a nice thermometer, stick it in the center of that ribeye, put it on a hot pan for about 3.5, 4 minutes per side. Actually 6 minutes per side, and get that internal temperature at about 135 degrees. Pull it off. You should have a perfect steak if you got a nice cut of meat. So make it at home. Don't overpay at a steakhouse. And as far as chicken, Popeye's chicken, baby.
Hey, can I tell you my favorite steakhouse?
No.
It's got to be Sparks. You know why? Ever since they killed Paul Castellano, the tables now are bulletproof. So when the mobster comes by, you can just pick up your table. You're perfectly safe. It's fantastic there.
Now, any upcoming projects, Jonathan, you want to talk about as we're getting close to the end here? Anything you want to talk about coming up, promote?
Yeah, I'll be flying out to LAX next week and then coming back Dallas on the way back. So it's just 4 nights, February 21st. Tuesday, I'm flying out to LAX. So I'm going to hit some of my favorite delis, the Catella Deli in Los Alamitos near the racetrack. Texas barbecue in Dallas, you know, Hard 8 barbecue, so many good places. So I looking forward to writing up my reports and hearing feedback on them and so forth.
Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate that. No.
I've never looked so good.
Hey, so Ellen, how can we find you and how can our listeners find you?
Sure. The best advice is to go to one of my groups, like Ellen Loves Pastrami. Look for it on Facebook. Ellen Loves Burgers. Ellen loves beef ribs, brisket, and steaks. Now, also, Freed loves fried chicken because my last name is Freed, spelled Fried, but Freed loves fried chicken. And yeah.
And Jonathan, what do you want to promote?
Well, you know, sure. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, documenting what I make for my family every, morning or afternoon at night. So the Hit Food channel, Instagram, Hit Foods on Facebook. I'll be in Monaco in April. So I'm going to report from Monaco all the food that I'm eating there. I have to lose a little weight and put a nice outfit on so I can be a part of the Monaco scene. So look for me soon on Hit Foods, reporting directly from Monaco.
That's awesome. And Neil, what are you up to?
Yeah, just basically history. And today's our big launch date with Jason. Yeah, as you heard, he's like the supreme impressionist out there. I mean, listen every day to TikTok Jason Scoop, and you'll get a different history joke in one of his unbelievable voices.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off what Neil said. Follow me at Jason Scoop Comedy on TikTok and at Jason Scoop on all platforms, and you can see everything there.
Awesome.
Martin Broadway Comedy Club, Greenwich Village Comedy Club. My book, Did It on a Dare, How I Built a Comedy Empire in 30 Short Years, soon to be coming out on a one-man show. And we're shopping around the screenplay for the movie. So hopefully we'll have more on that. BroadwayComedyClub.com, Greenwich Village ComedyClub.com. And for all that have participated in this show, the legendary Neil Berliner, Dr. Neil, we're going to call him.
Yes.
We call him Doctor, right, Jason?
I just had a great idea.
Call him Doctor.
So we have a call-in segment where people call in with their issues. You
yes.
Like Dr. Laura, right? Remember her?
Dr.
The porn
Yeah,
doctor.
but what-
She was, wasn't she in porn at one time? She was.
No, it could be.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, but it would be, that's a great show. People call in, they're depressed, and then you just roast them. Just
Right.
roast them.
How did we think of this?
It sounds like, Jonathan, it sounds like a great malpractice suit to me.
Well, they sign off on it before the show,
Exactly.
So for Ellen Free, Dr. Berliner, Jonathan, President Trump, Robert De Niro, Jason Perlow, our ladies
And Joseph Katz, our producer.
My friend Jay Bloomfield, wonderful foodie buddy. Hi there.
Oh,
And
that's who
I'm
that
on-
was. Okay.
That's
Jay Bloom, yeah.
I'm off to Gulfstream Park. We'll see you on our next episode,
Thank
folks.
you
See
so
you later,
much
everybody.
for having us. You're the best.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for coming on,
Appreciate it.
everybody.
Bye bye,
Thanks for coming
folks.
on.
Till we
Bye.
meet again. MEAT. Till we meet again.